just a regret. Well, that's what my voice sounds like. Okay. I regret to say this, but I only wrote this like 1 hour ago. So that's just a disclaimer for this. I would like to start off by saying that I don't know a lot about Quentin. In fact, a few hours ago, I had to ask my mom what his last name was. It's white, by the way. I don't know a lot about him, short of that his outward appearance, his voice, he's from Florida, and he's an economist or something. Now, that's not a mark against him. I'm just like that all the time. And that's not and just to qualify this, that is not an invitation for people to come up and give me their life story. I really just do not care. Unless you're a dead historical figure, then I'm just really not interested. But it's not like Quentin has done his part to tell me who he is. For instance, just this week, well, normally when Lane or Kelly or Bryn, if I see them for the first time in anything over 5 days, their greeting will always be this really loud, "Hey, Isaac, I haven't seen you in a long time. Come here, bud." And then come over and try to hug me, but they have to aim outwards because they're so short and they sort of fail at it. But Quentin, he has the right idea when it comes to this, because I saw him for the first time in what must have been a couple of months, just this week, and he's on the laptop. I come in through the sliding glass door, full view of him, and I give him, and for the first time I'm the one who says the first thing, and I say, give him my customary trademarked, Isaac, greeting, welcome, hey Quentin, and then slowly shuffle away in order to avoid any unnecessary human-to-human interaction. And then he said back to me, hey Isaac, we didn't talk to each other. We didn't talk to each other for an hour after that, even though we hadn't seen each other for months, and he's going to be my brother-in-law. But one trait I do know that Quentin possesses is intelligence, as shown from his choice of Lane, and this particularly thrilling, lively, and intense discussion we had a few days ago about schools of economic thought and globalization. And it went on for like an hour until then. I'm talking about democracy and Thomas Malthus and other heart-pumping topics. But he told me something that I didn't know about economics already, and that is opportunity cost. And I did some more research on it and found out that it was from a 19th century economist by the name of David Ricardo and his provocative theory of comparative advantage. And the gist of the theory, without getting too detailed, is that if nation A can produce 2 goods more efficiently than nation B, then it's still to nation's A advantage to trade with nation B, because it can use that energy to make its better good, and instead just buy the other good. And the more I thought about that, the more that could apply to a variety of parties, including and up to 2 individuals. Now, I know this is about Lane and Quentin, but I'd like to talk about countries and So, let's say, I'm gonna be a historian, so I'm gonna get some experience in lecturing. Let's say that, for example, there are 2 countries, one that's louder and more enthusiastic, like the United States of America, and another that's taller and larger and generally quieter, like Canada. So, the United States may be able to make more goods like agricultural goods or guns than Canada may. But when they do trade, they do prosper from that relationship that they have by specializing and finding out that they may be better at doing a certain thing. And they may run into bumps in the road. For example, America may call Canada's military a little bit too wimpy. And Canada may do something stupid and reckless and thoughtless, like burn down our capital. But in the end, their diplomatic and business relationships will prosper as long as they initiate free trade with each other. They'll defend each other in war. They'll do things together, like NATO. And more recently, they'll sign the North American Free Trade Agreement, which means that they will, for a very long time, almost indefinitely, according to the trade agreement, freely and openly trade their goods to each other without barriers like tariffs or borders. And from that they'll prosper, they'll defend each other, they'll work together and both end off better from it, just as any other business transaction would. Hopefully. But once all that's been done, it'll go on forever, even until everyone dies when Cthulhu comes and kills us all in a great big fiery explosion. Cthulhu, you will come. Praise him. But I've probably gone on and talked too long about this, so I'll just end off with some quotes of wise words and some advice from the famous and influential economist John Maynard Keynes to Quentin, to Lane, and to every party goer. It was his last and dying words, and his words have forever been used by the United States government and governments all around the world to encourage prosperous trading relationships. His dying last words were, "I wish I'd drunk more champagne." Now, who's next and get ready to have their mind blown by how their voice sounds? Please come up. I don't want to destroy this microphone anymore.
But you can put it in the stand.
Ha ha ha.